Hey guys, World's Strongest Man Day 1 is over. We finished today with the Fingal's fingers. Auntie Liz, what a day it's been, finishing the competition with the Fingal's fingers. The gods were good to everyone, the skies cleared, everything dried up, and fingers were no issues. There was no rain at all, everything was nice and dry, so the athletes could get there, get it done, and get 3 events done in the first day. They'll be much happier than that than having to worry about doing an extra event tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, first pairing, Luke and Pavlo, how did that go?
It was a great matchup, first off, and we've never seen Pavlo Cordiaca do this, but we expected he would.
We've spoken to him before, haven't we? And he's reassured us he was very good.
Yes.
And he was.
He was. So he did all 5 fingers in 48.69 seconds. Luke Stoltman managing 4 in around about 32 seconds.
Yeah, Luke was flying through the first few, got through them real quickly, just ended up fatiguing a little bit towards the end, but a solid time for 4.
Yeah, decent.
So the second heat was Jaco versus Evan Singleton. Jaco Schoenwinkel from South Africa, Evan Singleton, his first final. Good to see Evan in the final. Evan flying on these, he did 5, just shy of Pavlo's time. It was 49.85 seconds. Real good to see Evan performing this well again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jaco Schoenwinkel, very solid. First time we've ever seen him do this. First time maybe that he's ever done this in competition. Yeah. He managed to get 4 of the fingers over in a time of 40.76 seconds.
Now the next pairing was a very big one for strongman fans. Tom Stoltman, current world's strongest man, and Brian Shaw, 4-time World's Strongest Man, in his last ever World's Strongest Man final on one of his very best events in Strongman.
This one had me stressed.
This had all of us stressed on the edge of our seats.
I've been lucky enough, or some people will say unlucky enough, to compete against Brian from my very first World's Strongest Man back in 2008. I've seen Brian do this event multiple times, and he has always been incredibly good at it.
Yeah.
I've never seen him not do all 5, and it started perfectly. He kind of was flying through the first few fingers, no problem at all. He was ahead of Tom Stoltman. 4th finger, got over, no problem.
No problem.
But the 5th finger just became too much, and he didn't give up and he kept fighting. But Tom absolutely, let's remember, Tom was behind at this point. Tom worked and he kind of flipped the 5th finger. He got the fastest time of the day, ending up with all 5 in sub 40 seconds. 39.36 seconds for Tom Stoltman for all 5 fingers. The devastation, though, for Brian Shaw fans, for myself, I wanted to see Brian do well on this one.
Really
It was an event, I kind of had him as the banker.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he could not get the 5th finger over.
And his 4 was so fast. It was 26.61 seconds. He was on for the win, and then unfortunately...
He was absolutely rapid over those first ones.
Yeah, he ended up dropping to 7th place.
Perhaps, I'm not sure. We haven't been able to speak to him and get any kind of feedback, but... that was a big blow for the 4-time champion, and unfortunately, I think that's the end of his challenge for the title. He won't give up. He's one of the most determined men I've ever met. I've never seen him ever pull out of a competition. He will keep fighting till the end, but I think his chances of realistically winning are definitely over after that. Our next pairing was Matt Ragg versus Alexei Novikov, the 2020 World's Strongest Man winner. He is trying hard to win that title back.
Alexei has been super consistent so far on these first 3 events, and this obviously being no exception. He did all 5 in 42.26 seconds, which has put him in 2nd place behind Tom Stoltman.
You look at his results, he's been 8 points, 7.5 points, and 9 points. He's just consistently performing, and that's what's keeping him in as a threat right now.
Absolutely. And Matt Ragg, another person who has probably never done this in competition before, but he put in a respectable time for 4 fingers with 35.03 seconds.
Absolutely.
And the final pairing was another heart stopper, wasn't it? Trey Mitchell versus Mitch Hooper. Both of them getting all 5. Trey was the fastest there, 5 in 48.46 seconds.
Trey was actually behind as well up until that very last finger. He had a bit of a blunder on the 3rd. Bit of a mistake, but he came back really strong on the last 2 fingers.
Whereas Mitch, you could see him slowing down ever so slightly with each finger. Again, obviously Mitch Hooper, his first time doing this in competition, but he did manage 5 in 49.89 seconds.
But look at those times.
How close they are.
Trey Mitchell, 48.46. Pavlo Cordiaca, 48. 49.69.
Yeah.
Evan Singleton 49.85, and Mitch Hooper 49.89. Those four athletes could have gone any way.
All within a second. 4 athletes within a second of each other is very, very, very close. But that means Tom managed to get maximum points there, and let's see what that has done to the overall standings after 3 events.
Right, guys, so you can see now, look how close this is at the end of day 1. Mitch Hooper will go to bed leading the world's strongest man, but only by half a point, with Alexei Novikov in second place, and Tom Stoltman is only 1 point behind as well. That is tight at the top. And then we've got Trey Mitchell only a few points behind as well. 1 point between the top 3 and 2.5 points between the top 4. We kept saying before this world's strongest man, it's going to be epic, it's going to be close. It is turning out that way. We could have the best battle ever for the world's strongest man this year.
Evan Singleton is currently in 5th place with 15.5 points. Bit of a drop down after Trey Mitchell there. Then Brian Shaw in 6th place with 14.5 points. Pavlo Cordiaco with 14 points in 7th. Matt Ragg with 11.5 points in 8th. Luke Stoltman with 8 points in 9th. And Jaco Skumvinkel with 5.5 points in 10th place currently
there
after 3
are still
events.
3 events to battle through tomorrow. We have the max dumbbell. Before this competition, you'd probably look at someone like Novikov to be the favourite for this one.
Yes.
The bus pull. Novikov won the bus pull last year in the final.
Yeah.
But don't count out Tom Stoltman in this.
Brian Shaw.
Brian Shaw can still pull big points. Dumbbell could be an issue for Tom.
Yes,
I think
notoriously a poor event.
Mitch has got to focus on that consistency tomorrow. I don't think he'll have the bankers like he did with those first 2 wins today. He's going to have to keep fighting hard for points and make sure he stays in those top 3. But it will come down to the Atlas stones. The real question for me, looking at this, is can Trey Mitchell stay within contention? Because I think if Trey has a good dumbbell, I think Trey actually, out of the 4 of them, has the least weaknesses.
Yes, because when you look at issues that people might have tomorrow, Tom Stoltman with the max dumbbell, Alexei Novikov with the Atlas stones, Mitch Hooper just maybe not being quite one of the top guys on these events.
I think Mitch Hooper will be up there, but these are all solid events for him, but none of his bankers.
No.
And Trey Mitchell could well do enough to kind of creep up. This final is going to be exciting. One of those 4 men is going to walk away with this title.
Yeah, I think that much now is probably quite clear, but who's it going to be? And has it changed your predictions, Lozzie?
It's changed my predictions. I was kind of rooting for Brian Shaw to finish out his career on the podium. Unfortunately, with 4 athletes that close, it would take a miracle to get 4 people to make that many mistakes, and Brian would have to win every event. But not only win every event, he'd need some of the guys in the bottom 3 or 4 to be getting between all of those guys. The likelihood of that happening, unfortunately for Brian fans, is very slim. He needs to keep focusing on fighting and just trying to climb up that leaderboard best he can. Those top 4 will battle for the title. Evan Singleton needs to kind of really work hard, I think, if he wants to keep Brian Shaw away from him.
Yeah.
And the other guys will just be fighting for pride to finish out World's Strongest Man as highly placed as they can. But I cannot see past one of those top 4 winning the title.
So there we have it. Day 1 of the World's Strongest Man final is done. I don't know about you, Lozzie, but I am emotionally and mentally exhausted and totally ready for bed.
It has been draining, but what an exciting day.
Oh, it has been. And we have to do it all again tomorrow.
Can't
and then
wait.
we will know who is the 2023 World's Strongest Man. Make sure you join us on our live weight parties tomorrow, guys. We look forward to seeing you there. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you tomorrow.